Good evening and welcome to Lane 9. I'm your host, Ariana Kukers. We're back at our home at the USA Swimming House in Omaha, Nebraska. Just down the street at the CenturyLink Center is where all of this 2016 Olympic trials action is taking place. We had to find a different home yesterday, and so we've had to make some updates to our Olympic team board behind us, and we're going to get the scoop on all of that coming up with Kara Lynn Joyce. But right now, we're a little over halfway through the meet, and we're in this place where some athletes have swam and maybe the races didn't go the way that they wanted to, and so they packed up and they've had to go home. I was in that position and was disappointed and devastated and didn't know how I was going to come back from it because I had another 4 years until I had a shot. In 4 years, there's going to be 4 new NBA champions, 4 March Madnesses, 4 Super Bowls, and a presidential election. These athletes will have to find the motivation in order to wait for that day after day. And you have the other side of the spectrum where some athletes are just getting started with their programs. They're getting some races under their belt. Maybe they've already made the Olympic team and they're resetting with their training in order to go on to Rio. And they will tell you that it's worth it. Day after day, it's worth it to continue going on. So we're going to keep a close eye on that. Joining us tonight, we have a Hall of Fame guests of Olympians, plus a behind-the-scenes look. We took a lap with Jack Bowerly around the pool, and where's all that noise coming from? Dwyer Nation. We'll give you more on that later. But first, Kara's waiting for me. Let's start the show.
Live from Omaha, this is Lane 9, and once again, here is your host, Ariana Kukors.
Day 5 is in the books. Kara, thanks for coming on and joining us. You just came back from the pool, and it's electric over there.
Yes, every night. Every night, people are on their feet cheering. It's such a great atmosphere for a swim meet of all things, and it's like nothing else.
I know, it really is, and it's amazing how many fans have come out to watch this, and day after day, they're on their feet, and they're cheering, and I mean, across the board, everyone's just excited to be here. So let's kick it off. We had the men's 200 IM. It's Michael Phelps' birthday, so
happy birthday.
Happy 31st birthday to Michael. And we had the showdown between Ryan and Michael in the 200 individual medley semifinal. That's gonna go down tomorrow for the final.
Yeah, so we talked about earlier this morning how Michael and Ryan both hold the top 10 times of all time in this event, split evenly 5 and 5, with Ryan having the #1, obviously, world record time. Tonight, Lochte came out a second ahead of Phelps. Although we do have these 30-something guys out in front, now that Michael's 31, they have a young, hungry contingent behind them, and I wouldn't put it past anybody in that heat. So I'm very interested to see how this race is going to unfold tomorrow night.
I think so too, and nobody is better at pacing themselves through the prelim, semifinal, final than Ryan Lochte and Michael Phelps.
They have more experience than anyone else in that field.
Yeah, I think that they're going to light it up tomorrow, and I'm really curious what the times will be because, like you said, splitting 5 and 5 between those top 10 times, I can't believe that. So we're going to see what's going to go down. So now we had some finals tonight. The 100 free for men was really fast.
Yes, 100 free for men was a very exciting race. We had our favorite Nathan Adrian come in first, qualifying for his 3rd Olympic team.
Yep.
And then we had Caleb Dressel coming off of an amazing short course season, NCAA champion, American record holder. And Dressel in 2nd place, qualifying for his 1st. Rounding out that field, we have, I think he's the oldest guy competing in this meet from the 2000 Olympics, Anthony Irvin.
Yep.
Made a big change in his coaching, within the last couple months, and that change is obviously paying off. He just punched his ticket to be on the relay. Jimmy Fegan, also a great one, made his 2nd Olympic team. So another strong set of guys going in for that relay and that 100 free.
Yeah, and there was a lot of emotion within that race. And, Nathan got his 1st race under his belt. And Nathan's actually somebody that I grew up with just outside of Seattle. And we always used to, so we swam together 10 and unders, and then 11, 12, we're about the same age. And we always used to compare breaststroke splits in the 200 IM, which was fun because typically mine were faster than his when we were kids. And then as we got older, he started to completely smoke me. But it was awesome to see him touch the wall first and also have a couple others in there that had some great swims.
Yeah, absolutely. And him being our champion from the last Olympic Games, we want to send the best, and he is definitely our best.
Yeah, so next let's go on to the 200 butterfly for women.
Women's 200 butterfly, we have 2012 Olympian and trials champion Camille Adams with a repeat on that, finishing with a 2:06. And then we have Haley Flickinger Haley Flickener.
Yep.
From Georgia, Haley Flickener. I'll
Haley
get
Flickener,
this.
yes.
Silent G. Haley Flickener in second place, and I think she makes 8 Georgia swimmers. So great job to Jack Bowerly over there. At 8 might be close to a record. Some interesting things I think about Camille Adams. So at that first 50, she turned in 7th place.
Wow.
But with the experience that she has under her belt, she stayed cool, calm, and collected the entire race. She didn't let any outside factors get to her, brought it home, swam the race that she trained for, and obviously a great solid swim.
Yeah, she had a lot of variables that could have set her off easily this meet. She had the disqualification that was overturned yesterday in prelims, and I can't wait to see her light it up in Rio coming up. I think she's a strong contender for us. She has some experience, like you said. This is her second Olympics, so she's going to know what to expect going into it.
Yeah, she's a great leader too. Typically a team captain for the U.S. So really happy to see her with that win.
Yeah, really good. Okay, so let's go on to the semis of the 100 freestyle for women.
Women's 100 free semifinal. I told you I'm going to geek out over these sprint races. So we have Abby Weitzel out in front. Abby, 19 years old, deferred her enrollment to Cal so she could stay with her club team and train, and it is definitely paying off. Simone Manuel in second. A couple interesting things about this field. We have 30-year-old and my dear friend Amanda Weir in third with a great swim, 53.7 again. And of note, we have Katie Ledecky in this final. What we don't have Coughlin and we don't have Franklin, 2 swimmers that we had on that relay 4 years ago. So, it'll be interesting. I would be thrilled to see Katie Ledecky come in a top 6 finish tomorrow night in this 100 freestyle.
Yeah, she's really proving that you can do anything at this point.
She can do anything.
Yeah, she can do anything. Okay, so let's go back to the 200 breaststroke for men final. What happened there? 200
breaststroke for men final, definitely the best race that we have seen so far at this meet. We had Kevin Cordes out again under world record pace. He looked so smooth, so long, so relaxed. I thought this might be the time because he's been teasing us with that world record.
Really has been. I thought we were going to see it tonight.
Yeah, well, we had Josh Pernot bring it back, very strong in the last 50, a second and a half faster than Kevin, out-touched him, and broke our very first American record of the Olympic trials.
Oh my gosh.
So fans got a treat tonight.
Yeah, congrats to him. So moving on, we have the 200 breaststroke for women semifinal.
200 breaststroke for women semifinal. Lily King, our very heavy favorite. It's hard to deny how strong she looks in the water. She's clearly extremely confident. She's separated herself about a half a second from the rest of the field. And then we have 2012 Olympian in this event, Micah Lawrence. Micah's been training out in Singapore with great coach, renowned coach Sergio Lopez. So I think it'll be interesting to see how that one unfolds. Molly Hannes looking to get on the Olympic team, punch her ticket for her first team. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow night.
Yeah, well, I was able to catch up with Lily King, and she was telling me that she's one of the people in the ready room who's laughing and joking and trying to relax everybody. And so I think that she comes in, especially after making that 100 breaststroke, she's swimming in a really powerful position where you can just go and you can swim free because that the pressure to make the team is off.
The pressure is off, and it's a great feeling.
Yep. Really great. Okay, so the 200 backstroke for men semifinal went down tonight.
200 backstroke for men semifinal. This is a race that I actually really enjoyed watching. I love seeing Ryan Murphy and Jacob Pebley going stroke for stroke, head to head. They're 2 teammates out of Cal. This is something that they do in practice day in and day out, so it's really cool to see this happen on the national stage. But then we have in third place heading into finals, we have Tyler Clary, our 2012 Olympic gold medalist. Tomorrow night, this 200 backstroke will be Tyler's 3rd final of the meet. He has not made the team yet. This is going to be his 3rd final. And one thing about Tyler, he is tough. You cannot count him out. You can't count him out. So I would love to see Tyler get in there. It's, honestly, it's all good to me, but he's a tough competitor.
He really is, and he's the reigning champion, reigning Olympic champion. And so I think in this, it's his last chance, like you said, and I think that he's going to put up a fighting chance in this, and I'm really curious to see what happens tomorrow night.
It'll be a show tomorrow night for sure.
Yeah. So we've talked a lot about Georgia. We got to chat with Jack Bowerly. Do you have any favorite Jack Bowerly memories? You swam with him for a very long time, and I know that his energy on the pool deck is electric, but day after day. But you have him putting together such an amazing group of athletes on this team. So what does that say for Jack in that program?
Well, I think Georgia brought over 25 athletes to this meet.
Wow.
And if you think about it, as a coach, having to train and taper 25 athletes, and taper is not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's an individual touch for each athlete. And I think it says tremendous things about Jack and his coaching staff over at Georgia. You know, they've all been working together for years and years, and it looks like they've got it down pat. You know, they're coming off a national championship at NCAA's this year, and they just kept the momentum rolling. Like I said, I think Haley was our 8th Georgia Olympian. So
and exactly what you said, taper is a fine-tuned, it's an art in so many ways. And to be able to have that many athletes and give them the attention that they deserve and bring them here and allow them to, you know, really be able to have the best races that they possibly can, it takes a lot.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we talked about with Jack when he was on the show the other day was momentum. You know, having your teammates swim really fast before your event, seeing everyone that you're practicing with make the Olympics day after day after day. Like Jack said, it helps you believe.
Really
it gives you confidence, and that ball just keeps rolling, and I'm super proud of them.
Yeah, that's awesome. That momentum is really building over there.
It's key.
Yeah, thank you, Kara.
My pleasure.
So we were able to spend some time with Jack, and we followed him around the pool deck and got an exclusive view of what he's like around the warm-up pool. Let's check it out.
How's Bob doing?
He's doing great.
That's so cool. What a good guy.
Yeah, great guy.
He's great.
I always like talking.
Where is he now?
Philly boys.
Yeah, we've suffered together. You're a Philly guy. You suffered.
That's right.
Yeah, they can hang meat in here. This is.
I know, it's cold.
It's
I was
cold.
thinking about bringing a sweatshirt.
Do not overswim that first 25. Okay, you learned it on the 200 yards by the time we got to the conference, right?
Thanks.
Nice job, Baz. Now here's the deal. This summer, you want it to happen again, you got to make sure the rest of the summer is good too.
Okay.
All right. In the back of your mind the whole time, you're setting up for that last 50. You got a lot of good easy speed right now. Let that take you. You're going to be excited. All right. Just swim. All you got to do is swim that thing correctly on the front part, and you'll see a 33.5. The rest of it's history. You can go to your lake on a Saturday afternoon and a Sunday.
Okay.
But from Monday to Saturday morning, you have your butsy-do in the pool. Yep. Tell Bob hello for me.
I will.
Tell him I might be able to find, I got a picture of him and me, 1991 World University Games staff. Yeah, my first international staff.
Yeah.
He'll remember every part of it.
I'm sure.
All right, like your sweatshirt.
I know, it was so cold.
I got to get,
I buy one.
I've worn that thing every day, and I'm going back to it. Yeah. I had to borrow one. It's not like I put it in here for coming. Yeah. I'm getting ready to leave for Omaha. It was 100 out here. I didn't put a sweatshirt in. All right, got to go watch Nick. See you in a bit.
Good luck.
All right, thanks.
He's the complete social butterfly around the pool deck. I remember the first time I saw him when I walked on here about a week ago. He came up to me and was so excited, asking how I was doing. I actually have a funny story about Jack Bowerly from my recruiting days. We were on the phone. He wanted me to come to Georgia. I was a senior in high school, and he said, "Hang on one second." He put the phone down, and I don't know what he was doing. He was hiking or doing something else, and picked it back up and was like, "Oh, sorry, I was busy for a second." But I heard him having a long conversation with somebody else. But that's Jack. That's the way he's just always wandering around and pumping everybody up, and you can see that in the performances that his athletes are having here. So now I am joined by a good friend and somebody who I first got to be on a team with in 2010. She swam at U.S. Nationals. We're gonna see some video of her here. She's a 3-time Olympian. I'm joined by Amanda Beard. Thank you, Amanda, for coming on.
Yeah, of course. How's it going?
It's good. How about you?
Going great.
You came on. You just got to Omaha a couple hours ago.
I still have my bags with me.
You do?
I have not. I still smell like a plane. And yeah, but that's what Omaha is about, right? Just rolling with the punches and having fun with it.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad that you're here. I remember 2010, you had such an impact on my career because the year before was a big year for me, and I was really nervous going into that year, and just the exchange that we had there was something that pumped me up in a really big way. And I think just being a veteran on this team, you've really been able to set that tone. So what's it like coming to U.S. Olympic trials and not competing?
It's odd.
Is it weird?
I mean, it feels really weird. The last time I did not compete in Olympic trials was in 1992. So it's been a while.
Are you kidding
In
me?
1992. So I've competed in the last 5 trials.
Yeah.
This is my first trials being a spectator ever. So sitting in the stands and just kind of witnessing it from that side,
Yeah.
it's mixed emotions. One, it's awesome
Yep.
because I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm having fun. I
Yeah.
get to cheer. But then I'm watching the athletes, and you know the feelings that they go
Oh, yeah.
through, and you want to be standing there and diving into the pool and racing because
Yeah.
it's still in there.
It totally is.
Just the motivation to wake up every single day to practice
And jump in a
isn't
cold
there.
pool.
Yeah, that's not there anymore. But to race is still there.
Yeah. So what was it like to watch the 200 breaststroke? This is a race that you've competed in and have Olympic medals in.
Well, I think the thing, I was sitting next to Rock Santos, which
Yeah.
is another former Olympian breaststroker, and I said to him, I said, man, right after the race, I was like, I wish I was in that race. So I still miss it. I'm not that far removed where I can totally separate myself from it, so it's a little difficult. But then again, I get to hang out with you tonight,
Yeah.
and they're all going back to their hotel stressing
It's great.
and worrying about tomorrow. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah. I totally got the nerves yesterday too when I watched the 200 IM and just, oh my gosh, I wish that I was behind the blocks right now and seeing if something could happen. But it is nice to kind of be on the other side.
It is. It's totally nice, it's refreshing. It's fun to socialize with people. We go to meets, we see all of our friends, but we don't get to actually hang with them.
I know. You know, you're so right. We're napping or eating or doing something else. It's
Yeah.
exactly what babies do.
I love being.
So earlier we saw a little clip of your son Blaze and your
Yes.
husband Sasha when Blaze was such a little guy then.
He was a little nugget.
Yep, little
yes,
nugget.
2010. I think he was 11 months old. Dragged him to the pool deck, so he's used to being around swimmers. I think he just thinks that's normal. To hang out with a bunch of Olympians all the time.
I still remember when you brought him to the 2011 World Championships in Shanghai.
Yes,
brought him to the training camp
he
in
came to
Australia.
Australia with us, and he came to Shanghai with us.
Yeah,
He's a world traveler, and I think he wasn't even 2. So
I know.
he's punching, stamps on his passport. He's a little lucky little dude.
Lucky little dude. And
Yeah.
now you have a little girl named Boone.
Yes.
She's so beautiful.
She's spunky.
Yeah.
She's the exact opposite of her brother.
Really?
Oh yeah. So Blaze is so easy, mellow, except for he loves sports. He loves playing baseball. He's getting into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He rides dirt bikes.
How do you keep up with all of this?
I have everlasting energy. No. And then Dune is just getting into dance. She's a climber like I was. So she climbs up to the pantry, on top of the refrigerator, on top of like slides,
Yep.
on the wrong side of things.
So you're exhausted chasing after her most of the time.
It's more so I've gotten some extra wrinkles, some extra gray hair because I've been stressing so much
Yeah.
over their safety.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So speaking of safety, let's move on to, I know that children learning how to swim is something that's important to you, learning to swim from a young age. What is that like now, having kids of your own, teaching them to swim?
It's a more realistic thing for me now. I mean, having kids, I've been involved with water safety and drowning prevention for over 20 years. But then when I had my own kids, it became a reality, and just being safe around pools or any sort of water. And for me as a swimmer, I know, and you have to respect water.
Completely.
It's powerful. So you can't just jump into the ocean and go for it. So working with young kids is kind of my specialty, and teaching them how to swim and getting them all water safe.
I know we did a learn to swim clinic together.
Yes, we did about a year ago.
Yeah, about a year ago.
Yeah.
And I know that this is something that's near and dear to your heart, and that you're doing a lot of work of outside of Seattle as well. So
yeah,
it's been fun to watch that and keep
I know.
up with you.
We'll get you down there. You're so close.
I know, I am.
We'll
so
drag
close.
you down there. Don't
Okay,
worry.
I'll come by and say hi. Well, thank you for joining me
No
tonight. It was so
problem.
good to see you. Definitely get your bags and head on out.
Awesome.
Thanks. Okay, so we've been introducing you to some of the 2016 Olympic team members, and earlier tonight, Camille Adams earned her second trip to the Games, and that didn't seem possible for her as an age group swimmer.
I was always not quite the best swimmer when I was younger, and we tried to figure out what I could do to maybe take home a medal or a ribbon, basically anything besides a bag of Cheetos at the end of the day. And so I started swimming the 200 fly just because there was never enough girls to swim it, and so of course I would get last, barely finish, and usually come home with the pink or purple ribbon, so that was even better for me anyways because I like those two colors. So that's actually how I got swimming the 200 fly, and I've really loved it ever since. There's no way that anyone could do this sport by yourself, and I think those teams of people that just really rally around you and remind you why you're doing it and remind you of your hopes and your dreams. Every day, my freshman year roommate, Sarah Henry, who's on the national team now, told me I was going to make the Olympic team the next year. And every morning I woke up and I told her that she was crazy. But I tell everyone now, Sarah Henry is the reason I made the Olympic team.
I love that piece on Camille. I've seen her a couple times here, and I'm so excited for her and excited to see what she has left in store for Rio. So joining me now on the set, I have 1976 Olympian John Naber. He won 4 gold medals and set 4 world records at that meet. Thanks for joining me.
My pleasure, Ariana.
So I know that you just got into town as well. What is it like for you over at the CenturyLink Center?
I've been to the last 2 trials here in Omaha.
Yeah.
In both instances, I had work to do. Tonight, I was a spectator and I loved it. I sat in the middle of the 1976 team. We're all here for our quadrennial reunion.
Yeah.
And it was just wonderful. And such a treat to watch the athletes, and I'm so glad I'm not swimming now. They're so fast.
Is it weird to not be swimming? Do you still, your heart rate kind of like comes up? You want to jump on the blocks? Like, what is that like to watch?
You know, I had a desire to keep racing as long as my records lasted, and the moment Rick Carey broke them, it was like pulling the tooth. It was gone.
Like, over
it's
it.
done. I'm over it. Totally over it.
So you were the first person to break 2 minutes, or the first man to break 2 minutes in the 200 breaststroke.
Backstroke.
That would be backstroke.
Yeah.
200 backstroke. So we were talking about barriers, and 2 minutes is a huge barrier in the 200 backstroke, and you know, you have the 1 minute and all these other things. What did you have your eyes set on that for a while to break 2 minutes?
Well, you know that when you work out, you do broken sets, and you add up the little times together, and that's supposed to give you an idea what you ought to be able to do.
Yeah.
And I had really good starts, and so I would push off the wall on each of those 50s, and you add them up together, and it was a 157. I'm thinking, wait a minute, that can't be right.
Yeah.
I think I just came along at the time when the records were in the low 2 minutes, and I was just the next person in line to do it. I never set out to be a barrier breaker. I just aimed at the world record, whatever it was, and that was the target. And it worked.
And I think that that's the beauty of the evolution of sport, and that's how things progress. You know, I always say records are made to be broken. You know, what's the point of them if they just stand there for all time? But, you know, there's continually learning new ways to do things or different technology. Has there been anything in backstroke that has been the most fascinating to you in terms of technique changes that has led to men going so fast?
Well, the biggest difference between now and when I swam was the backstroke turn.
Yep.
We had to touch the wall with our hands.
I can't believe
Now they're doing the freestyle flip, so it's probably a half second per turn of value. They're also really good in the underwaters. The kids off the walls today are mind-boggling to those of us who never did that dolphin kick as well as they do it. And I just love to see the control that the young men seem to have today. They're just really thorough and crisp and tight, and I just watch in awe.
I agree with you. Watching, especially Ryan Lochte do underwater kick, I watch that and I'm like, how could you possibly go that fast underwater? It's amazing to see.
How can you hold your breath that long after 150 meters?
Yeah.
That's what I'm impressed with.
Training day after day. That was something, when I committed to doing underwater kick, I committed to doing it in training day after day, because I knew that when I was on the last 150 and all I wanted to do was come up for air, that it would be there for me. So I think that was kind of the evolution for myself. So
it's important to know you can do it when you don't feel like doing it.
Exactly, yeah. So, and training is the perfect opportunity. You know, swimmers have hundreds and thousands of opportunities in training to get things right.
Right.
So you're talking about sitting with the 1976 Olympic team. What is that like to all come back together and be able to spend time?
It's old home week. It's as if we've never been apart.
Really?
When you go to battle on an Olympic team with a group of guys and gals, and decades can pass, in our case 40 years went by, and we're seeing people for the first time, and it's as if we saw them just yesterday. There's hugs, there's kisses, there's smiles. Tell me how you're doing, tell me about your kids. And while we watch the races, we do the little gentle prodding, the little poking of fun, you know?
Yeah.
Now, how would you feel, how would you finish in that field today? And it's just all in good nature, but the spirit is good, and the patriotism is so strong in the crowds. We're all standing up for the anthem, we're all applauding as the new Olympians come by. We know that they have joined a club that we joined 40 years ago, and there's no way you can lose that membership. And it's really thrilling.
That sounds like such a fun environment. Yeah.
It'll happen. You'll get there eventually.
I know, I'll get there. So you were talking about going into battle, and you know, there's a documentary, The Last Gold, and this was something that you were a part of. And you know, when you said going into battle, I thought of that and that environment that you guys were in the 1976 Olympics. Can you talk through that a little bit and what that was like to be a part of?
Perhaps the biggest difference in 1976 was the men and the women trained in separate training camps.
Okay.
And that denied the women the opportunity to be encouraged by the men. And at the time, the women were facing this huge specter of the East German, and I use women in quotes because in many cases they had been medically enhanced to be more than just women. We know that now as a fact, but at the time it was merely a suspicion. And so the U.S. women that had historically been favored to win gold didn't win a single gold medal until the last race of the Olympic Games, and that last gold was our final chance to redeem ourselves. And those 4 women on the freestyle relay shocked the East German machine and did something that no one at the time thought was possible. And now we look back on it as it's our miracle on ice. It's our defeating the monstrous odds. I even take credit for it. It wasn't me, it was the women who did it. But we watched that movie, and it's so thrilling to see that, and to see Shirley Babashoff and Jill Sterkel and Wendy Bolio and Kim Payton-Brestersoll. We just love them for what they did, and it's a great film.
Yeah, and when you're thinking about that, just for me, that sounds like optimism. That sounds like so many silver medals throughout that, and being able to go into that last race and think, no, we still have a chance, and coming together as a group to achieve something so extraordinary. I can't wait to see that movie. It sounds incredible. So thank you for your role in that.
No, my pleasure. I was just interviewed a couple of times. I had a little role in the success, but what I loved was the American women gave their best on the relay when it was for the country, not for themselves. And that's a lesson for us all. I think we all perform a little better on a relay.
I think so too, and I think that that's what makes the U.S. team so extraordinary. You think of athletes who, Jason Lezak in 2008 had this, at the time, the fastest split in history in that freestyle. I think that there's something to be said when you step on the blocks, and it's not just for you, it's for your country, it's for these people that are behind you, your teammates, the people in the stands. I think it boosts you up to a level that maybe you can't do by yourself.
If I could make a little observation, in 1976, the American men won 12 of 13 races, and they went gold, silver, bronze. We were allowed 3 athletes per event. They swept 4 races. As a result of that dominance and the women's dominance by the East German, FINA changed the rules to limit 2 athletes per. And the reason I mention that is that this week, Matt Grievers, the defending Olympic champion, who could easily be one of the top 3 in the world, doesn't even make the Olympic team in the 100 back.
Wow.
That's the outcome of the success of that Olympic team in 1976.
Wow, it's extraordinary.
I'm sorry, Matt. I'm sorry.
I know. Well, thank you so much. It was so good to see you. We caught up about a year ago at a swim clinic, so thanks for coming by and chatting with us.
And it was great watching the 200 backstroke tonight.
Yes.
I know it's just the semis, but Tyler Clary, the defending Olympic champion, controlled the race start to finish. And then Ryan Murphy, who was the best 100 backstroker, he was sort of lying in the weeds, and I watched him at 160 meters go, okay, time to go. And he flicked on a switch, and it's just as if he propelled himself to the wall first. We are looking really good in that event.
I think we are too. Do you have any predictions for tomorrow night?
I'm going to go with Ryan. I don't have a sentimental favorite. I love Tyler for being a gold medalist, but the U.S. is so strong, and I'm just so proud to see him. I just sit in awe. That's all I can say.
Well, we can't wait to see it. Good to see you, John.
Thank you.
So we've mentioned them a few times already, and their presence here is anything but subtle. And they've coined a new term, #DwyerNation. So I was walking through the lobby across the street from the pool, and I saw a lot of people with the same shirt on. You guys, I'm really confused who you're cheering on tonight. Who are you guys rooting for? Connor Dwyer, maybe? Connor made the team the other night, and his whole family, they're running 70 deep here right now. What an amazing crew that you have here. What does it mean for all of the whole family to be here supporting Connor this week?
Well, it couldn't be more important for him, I think. We're all behind him.
Who traveled the farthest to get here? Florida. Florida might be winning. Okay, who's the most competitive one in the Dwyer family? Ryan!
I think we all just want to win, and we're hoping that Connor can do something special tonight.
Yeah! I love it. #Lane9. It was so fun to catch up with the Dwyer crew. They are rolling 70 deep here. It continues to amaze me, and just so fun to be able to spend some time with them and just see that band of people that have rallied around Connor. Really cool. So we keep asking you to interact with us on social media. So now I'm going to read out a few of the messages that we've got. Bellin says, good luck from Spain to Nathan Adrian. Well, I definitely think he felt that good luck tonight. Scott says, love your show. Thanks, Scott. We love you too. Marco says, hi to Ariana from Finland. Hi, Marco. Thank you for watching. And I have to give a shout out to my two biggest fans, two people that just absolutely light up my life and made my Olympic dream possible 4 years ago, Emily Coukers and Maddie Coukers. They watch every single day. I'm so grateful for them, for their love and for their support. And they've texted me during, after every single show. So be sure to tweet at us and we can read them on air. That's all that we have for you tonight out of Lane 9. But all week long, we invite you to join the conversation by tweeting at us using hashtag Lane9. Share your questions, who you're cheering on, and where you're watching from for us to share live on the show. For all the latest video, news, and photos, visit us at usaswimming.org. And be sure to catch Caitlin Sanzano tomorrow morning on Deck Pass Live at 9 a.m. Central. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Good night from Omaha.